Welcome, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Wednesday, January 15th, 2025. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? First card flying out of the deck. Can I have the second card, please? The first two cards, please. Thank you so much. Okay, there we go. All right, let's get to it. First two cards, I am not surprised. First two cards that we have coming through right now are our Eight of Cups in its reversal and our Page of Wands in its reversal. Welcome to the full moon hangover. So here's the thing. This Cancer full moon, a lot of emotionality, right? Like a big wave energy, a lot of that emotionality. But again, working through that to a certain extent, recognizing and identifying path work. This has been a lot of that. Like, what was a lot of the lesson that we were navigating right now with this particular combination force of the dual Capricorn new moon? So a lot of that liminal space followed by a lot of that emotional dream space with the Cancer full moon. Resiliency, right? Resiliency. And it's not easy when we're energetically resilient, right? Being resilient is exhausting, okay? Again, I feel like there's a lot of energy right now that says, like, how are you so resilient? And being like, I am exhausted, right? Because a lot of that work to a certain extent, recognizing, and this has a lot to do with, and I just, it's so funny because ever since we entered this, like the shift that we've experienced from Capricorn coming, like Pluto coming out of Capricorn and into Pluto in Aquarius. Like Pluto in Capricorn was whatever it takes. Pluto in Aquarius is like absolutely not, right? Like absolutely not. Like in 2025, embracing your nope to a certain extent. Why? Because again, when we're working in that pathwork of intentionality, it often feels like one that is set with rigor, right? Because that rigor is not the moment or the inclination of just following one's emotionality wherever it may lead, right? Because again, and we've been talking a lot about this, and this is what's really beautiful, especially with this combination force of like the eight of cups in its reversal in combination with the Page of Wands. It's not, and this is also conversation on stoicism, right? And this is why I say that when I say a nuanced approach to things, this is going to hit very different depending on where you are on your own personal pathwork, right? I can't say to you right now, because again, I'm not here to give you directions. I'm here to show you the energetic map, right? I can't say that those emotions are such that you shouldn't follow your emotionality, right? Can't say that, because what we're effectively identifying is there's a lot of that push and pull that we were experiencing during that combination force of this is like the combination force of the Capricorn new moon, right? The logic space, right? The logic space, all logic, right? A lot of that heart truth clarity versus the heart space, like a lot of that emotionality, a lot of that feeling of energetic emotion, right? How do we follow our hearts? Following our hearts is not following our emotions. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but hear me out, right? Because that sense of emotionality, right? We understand and identify that the emotions are such, and this is why we see even now that for a lot of this work right now, like I'm going to tell you even now, if you are feeling like super emotional about something during this full moon that happened a really, really long time ago, well, yeah, because it's like I told you, it's big wave energy. It pulls back before it comes over, right? Because a lot of that, like the inhale of observation and then the exhale of understanding. So navigating that to a certain extent, what do you do when you navigate a big wave, right? Do you let it carry you away? No, what are you, nuts, right? You don't go under it, right? You don't try to go over it either, right? Because that's just like you're going to get knocked off your own like stability point. You energetically ride it out, right? You honor the space of the emotions. And what do? You listen. You listen to what the emotions are trying to tell you, right? And so what do we see that's happening right now? I feel like there's a lot of energy right now in that space of actively listening to what their emotions are asking for, as opposed to just bringing the emotions to another, right? Because when we just bring the emotions to each other, that's like us not wanting to do our internal homework. Right? I told you. And some of this could be if there are energy around you that's working more in that space of the ego. You may have a lot of energy right now navigating a circumstance that you're like I don't know what to do about this. Because again, if someone comes to us in an emotional space and says, I have emotions, and you say to them, well, what would you like me to do about them? And another person says, I have emotions, right? What they're really doing is they're like, I don't know what to do with these. I just want you take them. This is your responsibility. This is your energetic fault, right? But when we're in that state of energetic compassion, we don't just unload the emotions upon one another, right? Right? That because that sense or that space, that it doesn't create that sense of introspection. That's more of the energetic projection. We do that internal calculus. Right? We listen to what the emotions are asking for, and we bring those forward to one another in that space. Now, this is having a different impact on masculine and feminine energy across all of the frequencies, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to. And I just got to say right now that for a lot of this energy and separation, I would not be surprised if there isn't a lot of activation today in separation, given the cards that I'm seeing. There's a lot of this energy that I'm seeing that is very deep in contemplation. But I don't think that that's a negative contemplation point, because it feels to me like a lot of that energy that, like, this is feeling to me like there's some very, very heavy closure that is occurring right now, outside of this, like beyond this full moon, right? Because that's I need to point this out. Like this is what we often feel when we have energetic resiliency, and this is why, like, navigating that emotionality, there's a lot of peace on the other side of it, right? Because what do I see that a lot of the energy in separation is seeing? I see a lot of the energy in separation that felt like an overwhelm as it relates to the emotions of the past, being able to stand resilient in terms of their intention and moving in the direction of their intention. And I just keep hearing a lot of that energy that is saying to themselves, I'm ready now, right? Because they're recognizing that they can move forward while also finding space to feel the emotions of the experiences of the past. They're not carrying them as wounds. They're carrying them as sacred lessons. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, and that's heavy, right? I see like there's a lot of this, there's a little bit of this just like heavy, somber energy attached to that. But often when we're moving in that pathwork of intentionality, that somberness or that energetic resiliency that we experience, it reaffirms the commitment that we don't just do something because it feels good. We're doing something because we know it's energetically best, right? Now, for masculine and feminine energy right now coming into divine union, this is why I keep seeing that for a lot of this energy right now, this may be feeling like, I got to stress this. Like I see some energy right now moving deeper into divine union and feeling like a little bit on the ropes at this time. Why do we see that some of that energy coming into divine union feels like they're on the ropes at this time? Because often it is very characteristic that when we move deeper into divine union, we feel very isolated, because when we go through a maturation process and our perception changes, it sometimes takes some time for us to move into alignment or accordance with those that share the same perception of as us. So if these are these energies that are navigating that, they're letting go, right? They're going through that process of letting go of those that might not hold the energetic partnership sacredly as they do. And that is bittersweet, because that's the energy that says, that doesn't let someone, like, it's the act of compassion, right? It's like the no hard feelings kind of energy, because this is the energy that says, this is why these are Capricorn partnerships, as we keep seeing. This is the energy that says, if you can't hold something as sacredly as I do, then this is where we energetically part ways, right? It's like a lot of that, like that's like that sense of energetic healing to a certain extent, right? It's heavy, but this is the energy that says it's heavy because it's sacred work. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, that is deep within divine union, This is like more of that. Like I just keep hearing not ideal, not ideal. But when you're trying to bring something into fruition, it's never ideal, right? It's what you do. Ideal is what you do with something that is not energetically ideal, right? It's not, and this is again, this is what I like that we're leaving behind from Capricorn in Pluto and Capricorn to Pluto and Aquarius, right? Like a lot of that Pluto and Capricorn was very picky. Like a lot of that energy of Pluto and Capricorn was like, if it's not perfect, I don't want it, right? While we see that a lot of this energy that we're recognizing that's occurring right now, a lot of this shift of Pluto into Aquarius is, if it's not perfect, then I better get cracking, right? If it's not perfect, well, I see what the problem is here. There it is. There's your problem right there. We can do something about that. Center card in our 5-card spread is, we have here, woof, this is some heavy energy. We got this, like, it's like still, it's like, oh my gosh, this is like, okay, so again, if you're feeling, if there's like, it's like, oh, this is some of that like Mars retrograde coming in. Like it feels like something about this, like it's just, it's like a thick energy today. It's like a thick, soupy energy. It's like, it's like, and I'm gonna tell you why you're feeling like that. I'm gonna tell you why you're feeling like that. It's a come down energy. If you're feeling like kind of emotionally exhausted right now, if you're feeling a little like I'm tired grandpa energy, I just want you to remind you, we went through like what could be accurately described as like a double full moon. It's been a lot. It's like a lot. It's a lot. It's very, like a lot of that amplification. Like when the full moon was here, it was like, oh, and now it's like quietude, right? So just remember, it's the vibe. It's not just you. We are all experiencing it. We're all working through it. It's not just you. Again, this is why I was saying, remember what I was saying? You remember what I was saying? Like during the full moon, don't get emotionally carried away. Don't get emotionally carried. This is why. Okay. Because building into that intention, right? Intention navigates the emotional ups and downs. So, I want to, again, I see a lot of energy right now. I feel like this is heavy repose energy. There's a lot of this energy that's like it feels restorative, but it also feels very calm, but it can feel oppressive to some right now. And I just need to remind you guys that like the one with all this Mars retrograde energy, if you don't like the vibe, wait. Just wait. Just wait. I guarantee you it's going to change. We got a new moon in Pisces coming. It's going to be bonkers. Enjoy the silence. Okay? Enjoy the silence. So, continuing to get clarification, be productive with it, okay? Get some stuff done. Clarification. Boom, boom, boom. We've got here. This is why. Like this is the Pisces the new moon on the horizon here. We've got here our Ace of Cups and our star energy, right? So is it quiet or are you gearing up? Is it quiet or are you gearing up? Right? Because I feel like a lot of this here, like, and that's the thing I like about it is it feels, it's like it's the full moon hangover. This is literally these 3 cards here. Like, look, it's like I got to show you these cards because I couldn't make this up if I wanted to. Look at this. You got, I don't want to do anything. Here's all of that lethargy. Literally, I don't want to do anything. I don't feel energetically inspired anymore. I was just inspired. Are you going, I was inspired. Just like, oh, what were you inspired during? Oh, you're going to tell me you were inspired during the Cancer full moon? Amazing. Right? And now I'm just tired. What do you have to do? Take care of yourself, baby. Take care of yourself. We've got here our Ace of Cups and our Star card. So this is a lot of restorational energy right now, right? Continuing to get clarification between our 8. Move that body is what I'm seeing too. I feel like I'm getting here that something about if you don't feel the energy today, move your body around. Get it, shake it out. Like literally shake it out. Get active today. It'll help with some of that fogginess that you're experiencing coming out of this, like it was heavy dream energy. So if you're feeling any of this fogginess right now, get in your body, right? If you're too caught in the fogginess, like the brain fogginess from the Cancer full moon, get in your body more. All right, continuing to get clarification between our Eight of Cups in its reversal in combination with our Page of Wands in its reversal. We have here Six of Pentacles in its reversal. I feel like a lot of this right now is a lot of this energy that we're seeing right now. It's I just got to tell you, if you're just feeling like, if you're feeling listless today, if you're feeling like you're like someone put you through the spin cycle, yeah, like coming out of a wolf moon, coming out of a Cancer full moon has this impact, right? It's like it feels like the emotional hangover to feeling a lot of emotionality. So I want you to be doing things that are energetically restorative. And that's why I see even now, like, listen, if you're in separation and someone's being like energetically quiet right now and you're feeling emotionally exhausted, imagine they are as well, right? Because everything I kind of see here is, and this is the only thing I got to say, I really feel like for a lot of the energy in separation right now, this like almost felt like something akin to a test, right? Why? Because again, I told you it was big wave energy. So that feeling, right? That feeling, I told you, like the clarity, like I got to say this, the clarity of the past that we experienced due to the Capricorn new moon, right? And that emotionality that then came forward, right? Like feeling like, again, where do the emotions live? The emotions live in the past. That's why it's always so hard to move forward, even if we see something with clarity, because again, just because we see something with clarity doesn't mean our emotions aren't tied to it. But what do we see that is a lot of the heavy lesson that a lot of the energy in separation is experiencing at this time? The emotions, seeing the difference between the emotions that cloud versus the emotions that bring forth clarity. Right? Not all emotions are the same. The emotions can cloud the judgment, right? It doesn't mean that the emotions are always faulty, but when we introspect upon emotions, we can identify what they are asking for, much like a child, to identify if it is based on a true need, like a true energetic need that is in alignment with our higher self, or if it's coming more from the ego space, right? Like that sense or space of a longing to go back somewhere that you know you shouldn't go, but you still have a lot of emotionality too, right? Like a lot of that feeling here. So we see even now, like a lot of that energetic unpacking. I feel like this is building into that space for energy and separation to make peace with the past. And this is why I keep saying that these partnerships that are coming together right now during this period are warriors. Because this is the energy that recognizes that when we make peace with the past, it's not because it doesn't matter. It's because we have the resilience to battle for our peace, right? We make peace with the past by battling for our peace. So I just see that a lot of that energy, recognizing that this is the energy that moves forward with one another as they continue forward. And that's hard. That's a heavy lesson, right? While for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union, this is a lot of the energy that is making peace with another person's perception, not trying to change another person's perspective, potentially trying to explain something. But again, if someone is being energetically unreasonable, right? What happens in those moments that we try to energetically reason with someone, but nothing that we say that is energetically reasonable, like navigates, right? We have those moments that we make peace with it and say, they're not seeing something from the same perspective that I am. We make peace in that space. So I see even now a lot of that same maturation process, because this is the energy that says and recognizes as they move deeper into partnership that when you don't see something the way another person sees it, you just make peace with that, and you hope the day comes and say, I hope the day comes that you see something the way that I do, right? Like this is the peace that we offer each other, right? And that's the energy that says, I'm not going to fight you on that. I'm giving you energetic peace. But it's heavy, right? There's a lot. I feel like a lot of that energy is recognizing how much they have changed in the process, because I just keep seeing something about the energy coming into divine union, seeing something outside of divine union occurring that they recognize and identify at a time that they didn't understand something as deeply as they do. That's always a heavy lesson to observe. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, like deep within divine union, this is like, it doesn't, like, when you're moving on a pathwork of purpose, it really doesn't matter if something's energetically ideal. It really doesn't matter, right? Like, that's the important thing. Like, the important thing is, like, I see the energy saying, if something's not ideal, then our work's cut out for us. Like, we know we got, like, it's like, that's what happens when you're on a pathwork of purpose. Either you're like, oh, good, this is easier, or being like, okay, well, at least we know what we need to do. And that's the thing I appreciate for some of this energy right now. Like, this is the energy creating the courage to move forward in that way, right? Because I just keep seeing that a lot of that is like, and it feels like, again, more of that same energy, like the sacredness of no is what I keep getting. Like, this, ever since we came into Pluto and Aquarius, it's like, it is all about, it's not like Pluto in Capricorn, avoiding the energetic argument. Pluto in Aquarius, let's talk about it. Let's unpack it. Like, let's get into it. Gloves are off kind of energy. Clarification between our Page of Wands in combination with our Four of Swords in its upright. One card. What? Okay, transverse. Did you guys see that? I'm sure you saw it. Okay, transverse. King of Cups in its transverse. So I'm just going to tell you right now, masculine energy. This may be feeling like, I feel like this is having a little bit more of like, it's feeling very blah. Like, it's feeling very blah right now for masculine energy, right? But again, like, of course, we had like this huge, like, we had all of these emotions, like, leading up into that full moon in Cancer, right? Like, there's like a lot of that energy there. So, like, a lot of this, and I have to stress this is why, and I have to actually say that for some of the masculine energy, feeling a little bit of this, like, I don't necessarily think that some of this blah energy is bad, because, like, what it's really saying to me is this is actually feeling like some kind of benchmark for masculine, because this is saying to me, even now, like, this is the masculine that is recognizing that it's not a question of just not allowing oneself to feel the things they feel. We embrace our emotions. That's how we heal, right? And when we're building in a pathwork, like, when we're building on pathwork of purpose, how we feel about something has very little, like, it doesn't change our direction, right? Like, that's the thing. And I want to say this right now. Like, I just keep on seeing that there's a lot of masculine energy right now reorienting on both what it means to be masculine, but in a positive way, but also the relationship with the emotions. That's why I see a lot of the masculine energy reorienting on their own sense of self, because I see a lot of the masculine energy saying, if everything is a gift that is given to us, to then the ability to navigate the emotions is also a gift. It doesn't require us to release them. We honor and listen to what the emotions are asking, right? And that's hard. Like, I see that this is some of the challenge space that I see right now, because I feel like there may be some masculine energy right now that is having a hard time communicating how they're feeling. But again, what's the healthy masculine energy doing? They're introspecting on the difficulty in communicating how they're feeling. They're trying to find the energetic words. And I see even now, and that's why I'm going to say to feminine right now, if you're noticing a little bit of reticence on masculine's part, especially if someone during the full moon in like especially if during the full moon in Cancer, someone was very like emotionally open. Like I see even now, like there's a little bit of that. Like I see the masculine almost navigating some of that tenderness, if you will, right? Like working through that in some way, shape, or form. So, that's why I keep on saying to feminine, if you notice that from the masculine, don't take it energetically personally right now, because I don't, I'm seeing that for a lot of the masculine energy, like a little bit of this reticence that we're seeing here. I keep on hearing the masculine, much like we said during the full moon, not getting emotionally carried away, right? For feminine, I see even now that ability of, again, not getting anxious, not allowing the wounds of trust. If you feel like the masculine's being reticent right now to get you all cynical about what's occurring, but being gentle in that space, I feel like that even here is more of that observation of why this energy is warrior energy, because even now something about that reticence feels energetically challenging. While for masculine and feminine energy right now coming into divine union, same thing. This may be harder right now for masculine energy moving deeper into divine union, because there's something about that masculine energy being in a space of recognizing and identifying. Like I'm telling you right now, there's some energy coming into divine union that's looking at it as like a real maturation process, like a lot of that energy, like looking at the context of how they feel and trying to identify. And this is much of the energy. This is the energy coming into divine union that's now experiencing some of that existential energy that we saw deeper in divine union during the Cancer full moon. Who am I? Right? While for feminine right now coming into divine union, this could be feminine letting off some of that energetic sacred rage that we're seeing potentially in those experiences or circumstances of experiencing those modalities of other people's expectations of them as it relates to what they feel is best for them. So there's a lot of this unpacking right now that I'm seeing. For the energy deep within divine union, I feel like there's something about that energetically where the energy is just like, like it doesn't like it, like it's like, and this is funny because like today is like a wash and wear day to a certain extent. Remember how and this is because this is one of the lessons that was happening in separation, now rising up into the energy in divine union. You will recall a couple of days ago, like during that full moon, what we effectively identified was a lot of the energy, there's a lot of the energy in separation, having that realization that when we move forward towards another in partnership, we always experience those moments where it feels like our heart isn't in it because the emotions exist in the past, right? Yeah, like the emotions always live a few minutes behind us. So that's why we see even now for the like this is the energy that like even if you don't feel the emotionality, like I just keep seeing that there's something happening right now for masculine and feminine that like this is the they're saying the power of routine. Right? The power of a healthy routine is such that even on days that you don't necessarily feel like completely like up for it, the routine itself energizes you. This is like a heavy Capricorn message, right? This is the sacredness of a routine, because often when you walk into a routine, you're like, I don't want to do this. And then the minute you're in it, you go, I'm glad I'm doing this, right? So there's a little bit of that energy today. So listen, if you're feeling sluggish today, don't drop your routine. Now you like if you're feeling sluggish, you get into that routine heavily today, because it's going to help you. It's going to help motivate you, right? Continuing, I also see some kind of changes routine because energy is getting stronger here. Something that used to challenge them is no longer challenging them, specifically for masculine right now, right? Continuing to get clarification between our Four of Swords in combination with our Ace of Cups in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with, yeah, man, this is so contemplative today, man. This is like some heavy, heavy contemplative energy today. Everybody is like, like there's a little bit of this like there's a little bit, it's like, it's a little bit of a, like a what now kind of energy. Like, I gotta be honest. It's a little bit of like a what now kind of energy, And I gotta say, like, but I also feel like there's something about that. like that feels energetically restorative. Now for the energy deep within divine union, I feel like a lot of this is plans. Working on plans. I just hear plans, 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 plans. And again, focusing, like I see energy, you know, and okay, oh, autopilot. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so what's happening right now for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, a lot of the energy deep within divine union has gotten to a point with something that they can go into autopilot. Ah, thank you. Okay, they can go into autopilot, right? Something that they used to require a lot of their concentration doesn't require their concentration. And in fact, I feel like there's something about that now. This is why we get into practice of ritual and routine, because it allows, like when we get into practice of ritual and routine, it becomes meditation. Because when we're able to do something on autopilot, we don't need to have our full focus on it, right? It allows for some kind of ability to like be able to tap into like different energetic frequencies to a certain extent. So I just see like a lot of that type of work today. Then this is a result. Okay, so this is a result of the fact that full moon in Cancer energy was really putting us heavily in the dream space. So this is how a lot of that dream energy is coming into the tangible space right now, right? Like this is a lot of that, like I was thinking, it got me thinking. I was like having a little, like a lot of that, like a lot of imagination today is what I'm seeing. Heavy on imagination, heavy on seeing things from different perspectives, heavy on new ideas. It's like I told you, it's sleepy. It's sleepy though. It's like sleepy energy, right? So if you're feeling like a little sleepy, this is probably indicative as to why. And that's happening across all of the frequencies. So again, if you're in separation and someone's being reticent right now, give them a little bit of a pass, because I feel like this is like the energy, just like literally everybody's kind of like sleepy right now as a result of this Cancer full moon. But it's because we're like inhabiting, like some of that dream space is like still very much here in some way, shape, or form. It's like like dream residue, like is what I'm getting. It's like dream. It's like, you know, wiping the dream from your eyes kind of thing. Continuing to get clarification between our Ace of Cups and our Star card. I love these two cards together. I have a feeling, listen, these two, this is the new moon in Pisces coming around the bend. Can I get one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now, you know, but here's more of that same energy with our Nine of Wands. You know, there is like there's so much of this sluggishness. There's so much of this sluggishness in today's reading, and again, I keep hearing hurt feelings. Now, let's talk a little about hurt feelings, right? Because like we all have them. The reason, and this is why I need to say that ability of contemplating over hurt feelings is valuable and important, because when we navigate through the space of hurt feelings, right? We can identify, it's not just about expressing how one feels, but asking the feelings what they're trying to say, right? When we navigate the space of having our feelings energetically hurt, what we can usually do is say to the feelings, why, right? And again, what happens in those spaces? The ego isn't usually able to come up with an answer, right? The ego can often be in that space of saying because, but not being able to answer upon it, right? The higher self can usually get very, very in the weeds as to why something hurts the way that it does. The higher self always wants to talk about it to a certain extent. And so I need to say this even now, and we have to be very careful. We have to be very careful right now, right? Because that ability of like that energetic mindfulness point, I need to point it out. Everybody's feeling super, super emotionally sensitive right now. Everyone's feeling super emotionally wounded. Everybody just like went through the ringer, potentially, like, again, and I need to point this out. Some of this is like soreness about the past. Like soreness about the past, something that happened a long time ago, like suddenly rising back up. Ow, right? Because that's a lot of this energy that we're experiencing right now. But the ability to identify, like, what is the residue of the Cancer full moon, right? Was like the amplification of something and being like, oh, that was just, that came out of the blue, right? Right? Like we have those moments, like if you're having that moment that you got really sore about something from the past and then you go, well, that came out of the blue, right? Like, yeah, it's the moon. Yeah, the moon. It was the moon that did that. You can welcome the moon for doing that, right? But that, like, that ability or that force of navigating it, recognizing it, asking the emotion, saying, okay, I know you feel something, but what do you want to do about it? Right? If you can't provide the energetic answer for it, it's usually an indication that it's coming more from the egoic space as opposed to the higher self. Right? So that's why we see even now, I feel like there's a lot, and this is why it's going to change depending on what your own experience with that is. This could either be you having to navigate that within the self right now, being like, like I feel a lot of things about that. Is there something I can do about it? No, it's just holding space for how I energetically feel, right? Or this is the moment that kind of, again, builds into that context of being able, and that's what I see to a certain extent, being able to articulate upon the energetic feeling, right? A lot of that energy coming into that space of being contemplative, recognizing and I want to say, like, finding the words, if you will, to articulate how one is feeling, right? Continuing to, and that's happening across all of the frequencies right now, right? And I need to stress this. I feel like some of this feels very heavily karmic, right? Because often one of the things that we experience when we navigate karmic wounds is experiencing something in different ways, having a vastly different perspective on something that's happened, right? What do we do? What do we do when when we've been talking a lot about, like, love, right? Like when we're in the space of love, we honor another's pathwork, right? If someone sees something in a way that we don't like move out, we don't struggle to try to force them into that perspective. We honor, right? We honor their perspective. And so that ability of, I just keep on saying, I keep on hearing honoring perspective, even though something energetically hurts, right? There's a lot of this I'm seeing on the heels of some of this, like some of this full moon in Cancer, right? And that's like, there you go. That's some wisdom everyone's getting right now. Like, it's like, I feel like a lot of that energy is moving forward with wisdom, right? And when we have wisdom, what do we do when we have wisdom? We recognize what is within our power to change versus what is outside of our power to accept. So that ability of seeing something and saying, like, it hurts for someone, it hurts that they don't see something the way that I do, but it doesn't change one's own perception of something. This is how we amplify that feeling of energetic sacredness, right? Because I just see even now, like, that's a lot of that energy that doesn't try to struggle in. Like, we don't struggle into that space of saying you have to see something the way that I do, right? Because when we hold something energetically sacred, it doesn't matter if another holds it in the same accordance, right? I just see, like, a lot of the energy right now across the frequencies, holding space for both how they feel, particularly around situations where that has occurred, or finding the words to articulate something in a way to help another understand, so, right? But more than anything, and I think that this is the thing that's helpful, is I see a lot of energy introspecting as to whether that work would be indulgent upon the self, making oneself feel better, right? Ego. Or whether it would actually affect a change. higher self, right? That's hard, right? And this is what I told you, this was a big struggle point. Remember I said like a lot of this struggle point to have to navigate during this full moon was that like emotion that rises up and goes, do it. It'll be really good for your healing journey. And you being like, it would feel so good. Do it for your healing journey. And you being like, wait, why would it be, wait, it would feel good for my healing journey? Yeah, I'll feel good for your healing. Wait, healing journeys don't feel good. Ah, gotcha. Right? Like that moment, the emotional indulgence, right? Like that was the watchword for a lot of this work. Like the watchword for a lot of this work right now in this Cancer full moon. Being wary of the emotional indulgence, something that feels good, but isn't actually along one's own path work, right? Like it's heavy. Continuing to get clarification between our Six of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with our King of Cups in its transverse. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Queen of Pentacles in its reversal. So again, this is like, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're feeling tired today, if you're feeling exhausted, if you're feeling like a little energetically unstable, a lot of this is just like, it's the vibe right now, right? We are deep in the heart of a Mars retrograde. So like, again, confidence is going like this, right? There's a lot of this energetic uncertainty. For masculine, I see this more in the emotional space right now, right? Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. For feminine, it's more in the stability, like it's more in this in the stability space, right? And I feel like a lot of that, and what's like I want to say, like, I would not be surprised if more of the feminine energy right now is navigating through their own energetic frustration, especially. I got to stress this because it feels like it's coming through very strongly, especially in the realm of others putting obligations on the feminine that are not their energetic responsibility. Like I just keep seeing this is something that keeps on coming through for a lot of the feminine energy right now, right? And this has to do with some of that clarity that occurred during that Cancer full moon, right? Like if this is the energy of feminine navigating others saying, like, I'm disappointed in you, or experiences of the past where the feminine had someone say, I'm disappointed in you. This is the feminine that is not looking so much as to whether they're not calibrating upon others' disappointment of them, but whether they disappointed themselves, right? Because that sense or that space, this is the feminine that works in that context of saying that when we are disappointed in someone, it's because they have an expectation of what they desire us to be, right? And so I just keep on seeing that this is some heavy work that the feminine's doing right now as it relates to letting go and healing from wounds of rejection, right? Because this is a feminine that, again, is either looking at the past experiences where another said, like, you're really disappointing to me. And this is the feminine that doesn't hold that to the degree of feeling that is a mark against them, but rather it begs the question saying, well, what did you expect of me? Right? This is the feminine energy that's asking that question when faced with those moments, right? What was the aspiration of the expectation that you set forth to me when you articulate the disappointment in me, right? Because there's a lot of that feminine energy that is calibrating now and understanding the difference between what feels like it is in alignment to them versus others' expectations from them. So this is something that's very restorative that's happening right now for feminine, but you can see while it may be frustrating. Masculine, I see a lot of the masculine, and this is what's interesting for the energy of masculine deep within divine union and also coming into divine union. Building upon that same context, recognizing and identifying that same work, because this is the masculine, it almost feels emotional for the feminine in those modalities or in those experiences. Why? Because this is the feminine masculine energy that's healed enough to recognize that they never have to feel that. I just keep seeing that there's a lot of masculine energy right now. I told you, what is the gift? What is the gift when we heal our egoic shield? What is the gift that happens when we heal our egoic shield? We are able to see things from different perspectives. So those moments or those modalities of seeing masculine, building with feminine, right? Seeing something from the perspective of feminine and having that recognition point. It's not empathy. It's solidarity, right? When we have moments that we experience and see something that another has to experience on their energetic journey, that we literally, it's not that we cannot, like, it's not that we cannot face it. We don't have to face it. This is how we build into the context of solidarity, because it's in those moments that we say, it is not fair or not right that you have to experience something like that. And I don't even know what it feels like to experience it, right? So we see even now, like, this is a lot of those spaces and a lot of those places. What does it do for masculine and feminine coming into divine union and deeper in divine union? It fortifies them, right? Via the energetic empathy of building into that type of connection. While for masculine and feminine energy right now in separation, a lot of this energy in separation right now, it's actually the same exact thing. It's the same exact thing, right? And this is why we see that this is the feminine building forth in separation to masculine and articulating those boundaries. I got to say right now, I got to warn you guys, the only thing I'm seeing right now for energy and separation is not to get triggered. Because the thing that I see that's happening right now is a lot of energy is reticent today. A lot of energy is tired. And I don't want a lot of those anxieties of the past to loom forward if you're building a connection with someone today, when someone is just really feeling somewhat energetically depleted as a result of some of this Cancer full moon energy. So don't assume. Absolutely don't assume and don't presume today. If you're feeling uncertain where another person stands, ask the right question. Continuing to get clarification between our King of Cups and its transverse in combination with our Three of Wands in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with, here we go, we got our King of Pentacles in its upright. So, here's the thing right now. Look at these counterparts here. This is actually very beautiful. I want to show you guys this because it's beautiful. Like, I have to stress, like, the reason we call these counterpart energies is that they don't need to necessarily be in lockstep every moment of the way. So what do we have happening here right now? We've got feminine very much in this Queen of Pentacles energy, but we've got masculine a bit more in this King of Pentacles energy, right? Feminine, and this is important too, because here's the thing. Emotionally, I see that feminine is feeling a bit more balanced in this energy right now. Right? I feel like there's something about this that feels more cleansing. I want to say, like, it's like the feminine feels more like energetically cleansed in some way, right? Masculine may be feeling a little bit more emotionally sensitive, but feminine is feeling practically sensitive, right? Feminine is struggling right now with fundamental tangible stuff. Masculine is not. So I have to stress here, this type of energy can be very supportive, be very supporting to the counterpart, as long as you're recognizing and building into that context of assisting each other along the way, right? But it can also feel very triggering if you're seeing another's path work and taking it energetically personally right now, right? Because, like, a lot of that, I just keep on seeing, I want to be I get a little bit conscientious with some of this King of Cups and its transverse that is sitting between the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles right now, right? Because I just see that as the fact that right now masculine and feminine are concentrating on very different things today. So that can sometimes lead to and they're feeling like there's some like vulnerability here as well. So I want you to be very compassionate and not presumptive in any of your communications today. Like, don't get, like, ask questions, Continuing to get clarification between our Three of Wands in its upright and our Nine of Wands in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now. Look who decided to show up, the Hermit card. And we're going to be studying this card in depth tonight at our Tarot Church class, which is starting at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. There's still time for you to join that class. If you would like to join, all you need to do is head over to my Substack and become a paid subscriber, gracestrega.substack.com. You'll be receiving your ticket for tonight later today. So that's what I meant. Listen, everybody's feeling super contemplative today. Everyone is just like, I see masculine very focused on tangible stuff today, but also like very contemplative. So this may create a lot of stillness right now for masculine energy. For feminine energy today, I see a lot of feminine also working through that to a certain degree. But the thing that makes me a little bit conscientious about this is, deep within divine union and energy coming into divine union, this is going to feel a little bit more easy to navigate. Because again, when we notice and recognize that our counterpart is feeling somewhat sensitive, like our own intuition is such that we can kind of recognize when we need to give someone space. I would almost say, like, make sure that you ask someone what they need today, because what you're feeling might not be necessarily what another person needs, right? This could be a little bit more challenging right now for the energy and separation, because this feels very still. It feels very still. Like it feels very contemplative. It feels very still. And that's why, and because this is warrior energy right now, there's something about navigating that stillness that may feel somewhat triggering. Okay? Feminine feeling a little bit unstable, potentially by feeling something that feels similar to something that they experienced in the past, right? So again, feminine, the past is not repeating itself. Don't get energetically cynical, right? Get introspective. For masculine, this may be a little bit of this work in relationality to, I don't know, I keep on feeling that, like, if there was like a lot of emotionality that was expressed during the full moon cycle, I feel like a lot of this masculine is in that space of feeling energetically confident. So I feel like both of these energies right now kind of just need that. Like I'll point this out. Remind someone that they're being very courageous, right? I keep on hearing like the appreciation point of saying to another how much courage it took to say something, especially for masculine energy. Because I just keep seeing that, like, a lot of that masculine energy and separation, like having the courage to ask the question instead of making an assumption is everything I keep hearing. Continuing to get clarification between our Queen of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with our King of Pentacles in its upright. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Clarification coming through right now with our Knight of Cups in its upright. Yeah, man, this is interesting. This is really interesting. Particularly, and I'm just going to go through this a little bit, because this is wow. So I need to stress this. I feel like for a lot of okay, this is I want to show you what I'm seeing in these cards so I can try to explain. This is the wave that we spoke about, like the emotional wave, right? Because we've got the King of Cups here in its transverse, with the Queen of Pentacles, look at this, in its reversal, with the King of Pentacles in its upright, right? And then we've got the King of Cups, right? So this is, again, I feel like I just keep feeling that there's something about this here for a lot of the energy and separation, like passing I keep on hearing passing the test of the big emotions, like passing the test of the big emotions. And it's not, I need to stress this. It's not because things are, I don't want to articulate this feeling like test, right? I don't like utilizing the word test, because when we articulate upon a test, it gives the indication that something is pass fail. You have to recognize that lessons are lessons because they bring with them understanding of self. There's no failing, right? This is the energy that feels like they were tested as it relates to their emotions, moving counter oppositional to the intention, right? And so I see even now, it's not and this is why they may be feeling testy, right? Like, okay, so a lot of emotions, a lot of energy right now feels energetically tested by the emotions, the amplification of emotions in relationality to like the expansion point of the Cancer full moon, feeling like it was trying to pull them back into the past, the emotions that rise up about something that happened in the past, right? Finding that fortification point of the self, not feeling moved by the emotions, and then feeling after the fact testy because you felt tested, right? So if energy right now, like the message I'm getting is the energy right now in separation is feeling testy because they feel like they were tested, right? So it's like it's why I can almost see some energy that is giving each other space even in separation because they can tell that they're feeling testy, right? While for masculine and feminine energy, that is coming into divine union, this is the energy that's navigating that soreness of growing pains. I just keep hearing growing pains, right? This is the energy that's like navigating those wounds, but these are the wounds that often occur. Listen, wisdom creates wounds. Why does wisdom create wounds? Because some things that we see, they hurt us as we see them, but they also create understanding and clarity. So this is a lot of energy right now I see navigating sacred wounds as they move deeper into partnership. While for a lot of this energy right now, deep within divine union, I can see the energy saying how I feel doesn't really matter, right? But I need to stress this. It's Capricorn. I say that like a Capricorn would say that, right? I got to say this. The Capricorns say that with love in their heart, right? That's how Capricorns express their love. Capricorns express their love going, it doesn't really matter how I feel about it, right? Because like, when we like, because and I think that that's what's really beautiful about this, right? You have to recognize that a lot of the Capricorn energy is about not doing what you just feel like doing. It's pathwork of obligation. It's pathwork of responsibility, right? A lot of Capricorn energy. This is why often Capricorns will take on a burden of responsibility because it is what they put their responsibility to that articulates their love. So that's why when a Capricorn says, it doesn't really matter how I feel about it, that's because that's the way the Capricorn says, I love you. Like that's how the Capricorn says, I love you. Because the Capricorn goes, oh, and I love you. I do stuff that I don't want to do. But that's because the energy is like, again, it's a sense of like, again, the practice of love as ritual. The consistency that we create when we say to another that my love is a dedication to you and it isn't conditional on the vacillation of feelings, right? Like Capricorns look at feelings like fish. Be like, doesn't matter which way the fish swim. I swim through the current, right? So we see even there, like there's a lot of that like beauty, like again, the beauty in the mundane. We're going to talk a lot about this in the Hermit class tonight. But finding the mystical in the mundane and working in that space, right? This is the energy that says there's nothing magical about being romantic. There's something magical about putting one's own sense of effort and commitment into something over and over and over again, which is, again, I told you a lot of that energy moving deeper into energetic connection at this time. Continuing to get a clarification between our King of Pentacles and our Hermit energy. One card to clarify, please. Working. Yeah, everybody's feeling so testy. Guys, I'm just telling you right now, 5 of Pentacles and it's upright. Everybody's feeling it today. Everybody's going to have a little bit of a 2 today. I'm telling you right now. Because again, it's giving me a lot of that goat energy. It's giving me a lot of that like a little bit of that like frustration, right? Like a little bit of that like doesn't matter how I feel kind of energy, which again could be very positive, right? Like That's why I keep saying, like, like, just move through it right now, right? Today is not, listen, you can contemplate today, but do not start brooding. Contemplation, not brooding. Do you hear me? It's a little, the only thing I don't like about what I'm seeing in some of these cards right now is it feels very inclined to it feels like a little bit like brooding. And what do I mean by brooding? Which is like when we are feeling emotionally sensitive, right? But we can't put our finger on it, right? Like when we're in a bad mood and we're like, I'm like, and this is why, again, if someone's being testy to you today, right? Like, what happens when we're operating from our ego? The ego wants to act like an angry toddler. The ego wants to say, I'm in a bad mood and I'm going to make it everyone else's business, right? Like, I'm in a bad, and why? Because it feels good. I'm doing it for my healing journey. Like, again, that, you remember what I told you? Be very conscientious. Because it feels good is not healing. Okay, you can't say to me you're doing it because it feels good, right? Like, right? Because brooding is often nursing wounds. But again, when we brood, it's very important to recognize if we're brooding on imaginary wounds, right? Because what happens, right? Like, what happens when we feel like we are energetically wounded, but we can't put our finger on it and we can't articulate why? That is often, like, again, I got to tell you right now, there's some of this soreness. There's a lot of this soreness that's coming through right now. It's the hangover. I was kind of expecting this. The emotional hangover from a Cancer full moon can lead to a lot of like irascible energy and a feeling like it's cranky. It's cranky, and everybody's cranky today, okay? So if you're feeling cranky, rest. If someone else is being cranky, don't be cranky to them. Don't get into a crank war. Don't out crank each other, okay? Like, tell someone to put them, like, if someone, like, tell someone to go take a nap. You know what I mean? Like, put them to bed. Like, um, because it feels very, yeah, it's cranky. It's cranky energy. Everybody's feeling it. Everybody's feeling it across the frequencies. And that's why I'm stressing, if it's like, it's not so, it's like testy for energy deep within divine union and coming into divine union. I don't want the crankiness to trigger you. Like, if you're in separation right now, find some, don't project that onto a new energetic connection. Especially if someone is feeling quiet today and it's feeling like it's triggering you into something that you experienced in the past. Remember, like, you are not the same person. This is not the same thing. Don't project that onto someone, right? Continuing to get clarification, final card for today's spread between our Knight of Cups in its upright and our Five of Pentacles in its upright. One card to clarify, please. King of Swords in its reversal. So there's a lot, I gotta just say, there's a lot of masculine energy on the table today. And that's not a negative thing, but I feel like I see masculine energy. If you're bopping back and forth between modalities right now, I would not be surprised, because it's giving me it's giving me a lot of, like, itchy sweater vibes. It's giving me a lot of it's giving me a lot of this, like, I don't know why this is coming through. You must have mistaken me for someone else kind of energy. Like, you must have mistaken me for someone else. But why do we see that right now? Like, because, like, I want to stress that what we're seeing here. How do I feel like I just keep, okay, I'm going to start with the energy and separation, and then I'm going to work from there. Like I said, this full moon, and I got to say this for the energy and separation, I feel like There's a lot of energy in separation that may have had that experience recently during this full moon that said, like, out of nowhere, I just felt like this giant amount of care about something in the past, right? And I can almost see that energy having felt that inclination of being like, wow, should I energetically communicate that? Should I move something forward? Like, should I, like, and I can almost feel that energy saying, oh, it'd be good for closure. But then that's the energy that remembers in separation and saying, no, when we build forward towards someone with emotionality, that's not closing, it's opening, right? And so that's what I mean. I feel like this happened for both feminine and masculine energy, right? Like this massive wave of nostalgia, right? But this is the thing that's important about it, right? It's the recognition of nostalgia, right? Because that is the energy that like feels the amplification of the full moon and then recognizes that all of our feelings live in the past to a certain extent. But this isn't the energy that ran back to the past just because the emotions felt big. They stopped themselves and they said, has anything energetically changed? No, it's just an amplification of the way I felt. And so this is a lot of that energy that moves forward. I told you, it's warrior energy. What happens to warriors? They are tested, right? And this isn't because this is the energy that like, it's not the test. It's not the outside test. It's the feeling of being energetically tested, because this is the energy that says, I don't I don't just follow my emotions full tilt. I hold space for them. I listen to them. This is stoicism. I listened to what the emotions were trying to tell me. And then I proceeded forward on my path, right? Right? There's a lot of this like siren energy, like tying oneself to the mast kind of energy, right? Like this is what we talk about when you listen to the emotions, right? But you don't allow them to change your energetic trajectory, right? So a lot of this energy right now, I feel like there's a lot of this masculine energy that's like, like, dun, 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 like, but they're exhausted from it. They're energetically vulnerable, right? For a lot of the feminine energy, it feels more like grief. It feels more like I gotta say, like sacred grief, sacred rage. It's not so much like I feel like the energy is like, oh, I felt a lot of something. And the reason they're feeling fortified is like, I felt a lot of something, but it wasn't something good. Like the feminine going, I felt a lot of something, but it wasn't something good. like a lot of that feminine energy being like, nope. Because like a lot of that, again, this is why this is energetic warrior energy, which is, again, holding the ability. Why is the warrior strong? Because they can feel their emotions. They can feel the enormity of their emotions, but it doesn't change their trajectory. It doesn't change their intention, right? For masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union, this is more the amplification of how much one has changed. I feel like there's a lot of masculine energy moving into divine union right now that feels somewhat energetically isolated from those around them to a certain extent, because either they're recognizing something that they couldn't see before that's giving them a profound amount of understanding, or they're feeling isolated from those that have not matured with them at the same trajectory. And again, bearing in mind, that's not qualitative, right? I'm not saying that from a qualitative space. Nothing's better and worse. We receive lessons as we're ready to experience them. And so this is why I feel like there's a lot of that energy right now. Again, this is masculine. Again, timing is beautiful. Embracing that hermit energy, right? That's what wisdom feels like, right? When you see something, you can't do much about it, right? Like, you go, oh, shoot. I get it now, right? While for feminine energy, very much the same, right? Though again, a lot of the same feeling less of a more of a right? Like feminine gets wisdom, not going, oh, they go, huh? Like it's like a little bit more frustrating. Well, for masculine and feminine energy deep within divine union, I just see the energy just fully embracing Capricorn season, which is like when we're on pathwork of purpose, it doesn't really matter how we feel about it. It's just, it doesn't matter how you feel. You just got to do what you got to do. Like you keep working, it's like a little bit of that, like, I'm tired, grandpa, like keep digging kind of energy. Bottom of the deck on today's reading is, Lovers in its reversal. I told you, everybody's feeling cranky today. You're feeling cranky, right? You're probably even feeling a little disconnected from your partner. We're coming out of a Cancer full moon. Big amplification of energy. We're all going through an emotional hangover in relationality to this Cancer full moon energy, right? It makes us all feel energetically sore. Right? It all makes us feel really emotional. It makes us feel really energetically testy, right? Make sure you don't take it out on each other, right? Make sure that you articulate if someone finds you in that testy space, say it's not you, right? Because I guarantee you someone's going to be like, I feel it too. It's crabby. It's crabby, right? We're coming out of a Cancer full moon. You're feeling crabby. Don't take your crabbiness out on somebody. Okay? Be compassionate. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, gracestrega.com. My private readings are done over video, and if you are a subscriber to my TikTok or on the place we keep the videos, you can take 10% off any of my services when you pay. Just mention your subscriber name at the point of payment. Please keep in mind that if you book a private reading with me, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my website, so I encourage you to do it there. Also, a couple of updates before we move into personal readings today. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who attended our recent tarot class. Our next tarot class is tonight at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the Hermit card. If you would like to become a part of that class program, all you need to do is head over to my Substack, gracestrega.substack.com, and become a paid subscriber. That paid subscription is your ticket into our live classes each and every month. You will also have access to the full Tarot Church library. That is over 9 hours worth of material that is available to you as a subscriber. It's not necessary to catch up. I'll be giving a recap in each and every class. That's why we call it a library. It's available for you when you need to receive it. You'll also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything that we've studied thus far. And if you become a founding member to my Substack, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of classes, but you will also receive a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me, wherein I will assess where you are on your own personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your potential going forward. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. So I want to thank you if you're already joining us there. And I look forward to potentially seeing you tonight at our next class. And if you are a subscriber to my TikTok, make sure that you head over to our subscriber-only Discord channel that is available to you. And in the perk section, you will find a special coupon code that will give you an additional discount to that Substack subscription. Even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my Substack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings, services. I post my weekly newsletter there, which will let you know about my in-person events as well as my online live schedule. Finally, I want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my clients that are seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are customized for each individual person. They can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits. Also, for my clients that are seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. I'm also very happy to offer now, we've got a new offering of dream interpretations. If you are looking to have a dream interpreted, you can purchase an individual dream interpretation reading, or if you would like to purchase a dream interpretation packages, I would encourage you to keep a dream journal. We meet once a week over the course of a month to review your dreams, to analyze through the tarot, their symbiology, and the lessons that are trying to come through to you in the dream space. I hope you guys have an absolutely beautiful day. Please take care of yourselves. Please take care of one another, and we will do this again